I'll call the meeting to order. By way of introduction, my name is Drew Smith. I'm the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate for the city. My role in these proceedings is to be an independent fact finder. The order of the proceeding for each case will go in order of the agenda. And each case, the city will present its testimony and evidence first. If anybody desires to question the code enforcement officer, you certainly have that right. If you have no questions for the code enforcement officer, we'll move right into the presentation by the respondents. You can present to me any testimony and evidence that you would like me to hear or see. After I've heard and gathered all of the testimony and evidence, I will enter verbal order today with my findings. That will be followed in the mail by a written order on each case. And with that, if everyone, most of you are already standing up, if you'll rise, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And then if you'll stay standing, anybody who's going to testify, I'll swear everybody in, and we'll go from there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So again, anybody who's going to testify, if you'll stay standing. I understand we have at least one Spanish speaker that's going to be presenting today. I think he has a translator that he's brought with him. So I'm going to swear in everybody who's an English speaker. And Claudia, if you'll swear in anybody, do a swearing in for anybody who's a Spanish speaker. Do you all swear or affirm that the testimony you give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And if you'll do one.
¿Juran que el testimonio que van a proveer es la verdad y nada más que la verdad?
And you can call our first case.
Case number 2021-351, Home Depot, USA. Owner, repeat violation, location of violation, 4560 13th Street, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon. Diana Durbin, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 4560 13th Street. This is a repeat violation. The previous case was 17-1188, first observed on 4/28/17. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence a copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, a copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail posted on the property in City Hall, a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, the affidavit of postings, evidence of mailing, the code section in violation of, a copy of the deed of the property, a copy of the costs incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation of 21135. And the respondent is here.
You say the respondent is here. Is the respondent represented by counsel? Do they have counsel here also?
Yes, counsel is here on behalf of the respondent. Yes, sir.
On February 4th, 2021, I received a complaint from Don Callahan, city engineer, that this was a repeat case from code enforcement within the last 5 years. He advised the retention pond at this location was not being maintained and the overflow was clogged. 3 photos were taken. On February 5th, I issued a notice of violation by regular mail, giving them 30 calendar days. On April 9th, I received an email from Ivelisse Guadalupe, the senior legal specialist for Home Depot. She requested an additional 60 days. I spoke to Don Callahan, the city engineer, and he agreed to the extension. On June 15th, I met with Don Callahan at the location. He advised the clogged overflow had been cleared out, but other repairs were not completed, and 3 photos were taken. On June 16th, I sent out a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail to the owners of the property. I posted the property in City Hall and completed an affidavit of posting, and 2 photos were taken. On July 19th, Julie Kendig from Greenberg and Turig, PA, for Home Depot was notified the case would be postponed till October 20th, 2021. On October 5th, 2021, a reinspection was completed with the city engineer, Don Callahan, and he advised the location was in compliance. He advised Home Depot will need to maintain the basin and keep the grass and weeds cut. The drainage structure will also need to be kept in working order and maintained regularly. And 3 photos were taken. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of a repeat violation of not maintaining the retention pond per city code in the time specified. A flat fee of $2,500 is being requested. The city would also request that the costs incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $211.35 be paid within 7 days of the working order of the special magistrate. This concludes my presentation.
Mr. Magistrate, if I may just make one comment, Jack Morris from the city. Ms. Koenig has been working with my law partner, Dan Manzares, and I, and of course with staff on working this matter out. She's here and will be making a presentation to you as well. But we're of the understanding, and we've talked with Ms. Koenig about the resolution of this matter, and we understand that her client is agreeable to the imposition of this one-time administrative fine, $2,500, plus the recovery of the costs of $211.35 relative to this matter. But she does want to make certain things known to you about the history of this matter and so forth, and she's here.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm Julie Kendig Schrader with Greenberg Traurig, 450 South Orange Avenue, Orlando, Florida. I'm here today on behalf of Home Depot. First of all, we appreciate the working relationship that we've had with city staff and the city attorney's office. We are happy that we're bringing this portion of our issues to a close today. I believe that we may have mentioned this at the very first hearing, but throughout the course of our work to analyze what's going on with the ponds, we've come to the conclusion with our engineers that this pond is part of a master system. And there are some issues in the adjacent pond to which we flow that need to be resolved in order for us to maintain compliance. So I have a letter that I wrote to Mr. Manzares that I was going to enter for the record from October 18th. Should I give it to you, or?
As long as council has no objection, I'll take it.
No objection.
Thank you. So our plan is to continue to work with the adjacent property owner and the city engineer and code enforcement if they would like to participate in that process. We do appreciate being able to kind of close the chapter at this point on code enforcement. We do plan on working with the property owner association. Our engineers are producing a report on items that need to be done on their pond to make sure that our pond doesn't back up in the future. We'll continue to be involved with the city attorney and code enforcement if they desire, in the hopes that we don't wind up before you here again. So that's just basically what I wanted to clarify for the record. And another item that I wanted to ask, do you have any questions on that you want to ask me?
ma'am.
Okay. One question that I did have was I saw on the order the payment of the $211 in 7 working days. I'm not sure I can get a check that quickly out of Home
How
Depot.
much time do you need?
If I could have 30 days, and would that be for the $2,500 check and the $211 also?
If that gives you enough time, I'm usually very flexible on timing of
Okay.
payments, so you tell me what time you need and I will probably understand.
Yeah, if I could get 30 days, because I'm going to have to, with a big company, it's a process. I'm going to have to
Understood, yes.
send them the invoice, and then they're going to have to put it through their accounting department. So if I could have 30 days, I think that we can get both checks to the city within that time frame.
No problem.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Anything else from the city? Based on the evidence and testimony presented, as well as the stipulation of the parties, I will find that there was a repeat violation in this case for the pond maintenance. Find that violation has been cured. Find that a flat fee in the amount of $2,500 will be imposed for the repeat violation due to the length of time it continued, and based on the stipulation of the parties. Also find that the respondent is responsible for the cost of administration in the amount of $211.35. Both of those amounts shall be due within 30 days from the date of my written order.
Case number 2021-924, Denny E. Alvarez Robles, owner, Adelani E. Figueroa Rivera, owner, location of violation 3773 Briarwood Estates, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, Diana Durbin, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting the case for the property located at 3773 Briarwood Estates Circle. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence a copy of the courtesy notice sent by regular mail, a copy of the notice violation sent by regular mail, a copy of the notice violation sent by certified mail, a copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail posted on the property and City Hall, a copy of the statement of violation, notice of hearing, sent by certified mail posted on the property and City Hall, a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, the affidavits of posting, evidence of mailing, the code sections in violation of, a copy of the deed of the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $227.35. And the respondent is here.
Before you start, could I have the respondents just up real quick? I want to cover some bases to make sure everybody is able to participate effectively in the proceedings. Husband and wife?
Yeah,
And do you speak some English?
yeah, I understand.
So if you would just try to go slowly, and if you don't understand something, let us know so we can make sure that he understands everything that she's saying
I
too.
want to make a declaration about our names.
Our last
Both of our names are right in different way.
So mine is Rivera Figueroa and
And
his
mine is Robles Alvarez.
Okay, when you're up, I'll make sure we cover that, so I can make the right note. So I just wanted to make sure that you were able to understand everything that
Yes,
she's saying as she's testifying.
On April 27, 2021, I responded to a complaint of construction of a pergola at this location. I verified there was no active permit on file. Upon my arrival, I observed the construction of a pergola. I spoke to Denny, and he advised he was unaware he needed a permit, and I also advised him he needed to obtain a permit for the above-ground pool in the rear yard. He advised he would go apply. I advised I would be sending a courtesy notice by regular mail, giving them 10 working days. 3 photos were taken.
Is that the pergola?
Yeah, the pergola and the pool's in the background.
Okay.
On May 17, 2021, I verified that the permits were submitted for the pool and pergola. It was set for approval on June 22, 2021. On June 10, 2021, I checked the permits, and both of them had been denied. A notice of violation was created and was sent to the owners of the property to contact the building department to correct the issues with the permits within 10 working days. On June 25th, 2021, I verified the permits were still in disapproved status and no resubmittal had been submitted. A notice of violation was created, sent by certified mail to the owners of record to contact the building department and correct the issues with the permits within 10 working days. On July 15th, 2021, I verified the permits were still in disapproval status and no resubmittal had been submitted. A notice of violation was created and sent by certified mail. I posted the property in City Hall and an affidavit of posting, and 2 photos were taken. On July 16, 2021, I received a call from Denny, the owner. He stated he was working with the building department, but he was having issues finding an engineer to do the required signed and sealed drawings. I gave him until 8/1 to obtain the drawings. On 8/2, I spoke to Denny again, and he advised he had located the engineer, and he was hoping to have the plan submitted by 8/24/21. On October 5th, 2021, due to me being out on leave, I verified the permits were still in disapproval status, no resubmittal had been submitted, and a statement of violation and notice of hearing was created and sent by certified mail to the owners of the property. I posted the property in City Hall and did an affidavit of posting, and 3 photos were taken. On October 18th, 2021, I verified the permits were still in disapproved status and no resubmittal had been submitted. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of constructing a pergola and installing an above-ground pool at this location prior to obtaining the required permits, and to give the respondents until November 3rd, 2021, to obtain the permits or pay a fine in the amount of $100 a day until compliance is met. The city would also request that the costs incurred to bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $227.35 be paid within 7 days of the written order of the special magistrate. And this concludes my presentation.
So before you start, so names, I've got them, but let me make sure I was understanding what you're saying. So it's Denny E. Alvarez, or excuse me, Denny E. Robles Alvarez.
Robles Alvarez.
And Adnaloy
Adnaloy?
E. Rivera Figueroa.
That's
Correct.
correct.
So first, I just want to say this is like the first time this has ever happened
A
to us.
little bit closer to the microphone.
This is the first time this has ever happened to us. So we are unaware of a lot of things. As far as we thought if we had a gated or fenced backyard, we were able to do in our yard what other, even inclusive other neighbors are doing, like the pools that we put down, we put up in the summer moving forward, and the pergola, like it wasn't closed. So we were under the impression that if it's a closed structure, then that we would need like certain permits. But I just wanted
Yeah,
to say that.
when I do the fence, we get the permits and everything for the property, then at that point, we was find that every permit that we need for the house to do upgrades or change in the house was through the HOA. At that point, when I was gonna do the pergola, I called HOA, and the answer of them was, if you have a fence, you can do whatever you want inside in the back of the house, because, nobody see it from outside. That's the actual reason that they told me. So I go through this. When the officer go to my house and explain me about the permits and everything, I was like, okay, this is new for me, but I can submit the permits. So right away, I come, get the forms, submit the permits, and this has been like a long, way, because we get all sick in the house with COVID for that days, and we have proof that we get sick. But after that, when I get the permit denied, it's because I need the plans to be signed and sealed by an architect or an engineer. That has been like a really big situation for me, because I don't know about engineers or architects in the area. I get to a family member that is an architect, but he's not licensed here in Florida, but he works in an architecture company here in Florida, in Lake Nona. He gave me the plans done. I have the AutoCAD, I have the plans, and the PDF of the plans of the pergola with all the specification and everything. One of his coworkers was supposed to review the plans and everything, and he was going to sign and seal it. That was like the August 24th that we talked. Well, from that point, I have been waiting on this person to review the plans and sign it and seal it to bring it to the city. Actually, I also have the correction for the pool that the city asked me, and I haven't submitted because I was waiting to get the plans, signing and seal to bring all the permits, all the requirements together. So this person, like around 2 weeks ago, quit the office that he was working with my cousin. So we get out of contact with him. From there to now, I have been looking around, and actually I have evidence that I get a quote from one office here in the 192 next to Home Depot. I think it's James.
It's okay. I will take your word for it. You don't have to prove that you're working on it. I can hear that you're working on it.
Yeah, and he actually told me that, give me a quote. It was $2,200 for the plans because he wants to make the plans again because he don't know my, my cousin or whatever. But then I have to wait, like, a certain amount of time till he get me the plans with the sign and everything.
Do you have did he give any specific indication of how much time he needs to review those plans?
Not really. He just gave me the quote. I have the copy of the quote printed. And what he told me was like, let him know if I was gonna go through it with them, so I can submit the permit and everything.
Okay. I have a few things to go over, but do you have anything else you'd like me to hear? Either of you?
Well, that would be all because,
This is a learning experience for us.
Absolutely.
And for like our own neighbors, because our neighbors are 5 houses down from our immediate where we live. They all have pergolas, they all have pools, and they do not have, they don't know, like, the process. So this is gonna be a learning
any of them
experience.
have
where we
permit
can
because, the thing is, my house is the corner. Their house is in the middle, so the house that you can see from the street is mine, that is in the corner.
And that's one of the things I wanted to go over, just to let it be a learning experience. And whether you're in this HOA in St. Cloud or some other city, these are Florida building code issues. So this is not just the city of St. Cloud. Anywhere you live in Florida, they're all bound by the same building code. And it doesn't matter if it's enclosed, if they can see it or not. If you build anything vertical, it's covered by Florida building code, and you're going to have building permits. So you've
understand.
learned that now. The homeowners association, what they said makes perfect sense to me. Homeowners associations tend to be concerned about what everybody sees. Governmental entities like the city, they tend to be concerned about safety. That's what the Florida building code is all about. So you've learned that lesson. So my other concern, not for you, not about what you're telling me, is I want to make sure you have enough time to get the last step of this done, because I can hear that you've been working on it. I understand that it's difficult the building boom right now, it's hard to find professionals to take a look at something, particularly what to them is a fairly low dollar figure item. So any suggestions from the city? I mean, at a minimum, I would say 30 days.
Absolutely. The city's just looking for compliance on this, and if the magistrate comes to a reasonable timeframe, the city will accept that as long as we just have them moving forward on this.
Do you think 30 days gives you enough time to get with that engineer, to get those drawings signed and sealed and delivered to the city?
Well, I'm gonna make it work, like the possible time that I have, because I wanna get away from this situation already.
And with that being said, we're open to like suggestions to anyone that is recommended at this point, because it's like we don't know, and
Yeah,
like an architect.
Like most of the architect company that are around here or engineer company, they're industrial. And when you go with a case like this, they told you like, oh, we don't work with that, or they want to charge you like, something that is not even the pergola is close to that price.
I even work for Ryan Homes, and they all do commercial new construction. They don't do like
Like extension or modification to the houses.
I don't, and I doubt the city will either. Just, again, learning. Cities very rarely will recommend professionals because while it's intended as a friendly, good gesture, if something goes wrong,
right.
people point the finger back at the city that made
Right.
that recommendation. So you're probably not going to be able to get one from the city. But I'm trying to think of where, short of the internet and residential construction engineers, that would be my best thing to tell you. And if you have trouble with this one, hopefully this one works out perfectly for you. You don't have any issues. If you're not searching in a little bit closer to downtown Orlando, there are a lot in downtown Orlando that should be able to help you out. Just general and searching for, do you have any words of wisdom, Jack?
I just started working with CMEX, and like they do all construction. I hope that I get like some kind of connection to the.
Yeah, and CMEX does enough work around here that they probably have plenty of engineering contacts. So again, hopefully the one that you've found right now will work out just fine for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to find the violation exists, order the respondent to cure the violation within 30 days of my written order. So that clock actually starts when you get that order in the mail, look at the date that I signed it, that's the date that that 30-day clock starts to run. If you, whether it's a week down the road or a week before that 30 days runs, if your engineer is close but he's not there yet, call the code enforcement officer and let her know. She will work with you and say, as long as it's coming in soon, I can wait a little bit longer, but just stay on top of your engineer, but keep communicating with the city and let the city know what's going on with it, because as long as you're doing that, they're gonna work with you, okay? I do find that the respondents are responsible for the cost of prosecution in the amount of $227.35. I'm gonna go ahead and modify the 7 days that's been requested and make that 30 days to coincide with your time for submitting those engineering plans, okay?
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Case number 2021-1035, Mulberry 114 LLC, owner Supreme Barber Shop, tenant, location of violation 4077 13th Street, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, Pam Neal, City of St. Cloud Code Enforcement Officer. I am presenting this case for the property located at 4077 13th Street. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: a copy of the courtesy notice sent to the owner, a copy of the notice violation sent to the owner and the tenant, a copy of the notice violation sent by certified mail to the owner and hand-delivered to the tenant, a copy of the notice of violation with the new date sent to the owner and the tenant, copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail to the owner and to the tenant and posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the PowerPoint presentation, copy of the affidavits of postings, the certified cards signed for, the certified mail receipt, a copy of the deed to the property, copy of the code section in violation, copy of the costs incurred if the special magistrate finds a respondent in violation in the amount of $285.20. On May 7th, 2021, I was checking all the businesses in this plaza for the proper permits. The business at this location did not obtain any permits for the facade signage or the window signage. And I took 3 photos. On May 10th, a courtesy notice was sent to the owner. On May 20th, I went to the location. All the signs were still up with no permits obtained. On May 21st, a notice of violation was sent to the owner and the tenant. On June 4th, I went to the location. The signs were still up, all up with no permits. On June 7th, a notice of violation was sent by certified mail to the owner and the tenant. On June 22nd, I went to the location. Signs were still up with no permits. July 23rd, I went to the location. All signs were still up with no permits. On July 26th, a notice violation with the new date was sent to the owner and the tenant. On August 11th, I went to the location and all the signs were still up with no permits obtained. I talked to the tenant and explained the violations and that the permits needed to be at least applied for within a week or I would have to proceed with my case. On August 31st, I went to the location, all the signs were still up and nothing had been done. On August 31st, a statement of violation and notice of hearing was sent by certified mail to the owner and the tenant and posted on the property and City Hall. An affidavit of posting was completed. I took 2 photos. On September 7th, I went to the location and all the signs were still up with no permits. September 15th, I went to the location. All the signs still up with no permits. The permit for the window signage was applied for on September 10th, but was disapproved on September 14th. On September 29th, I went to the location. All the signs were still up with no permits. On September 29th, a statement of violation, notice of hearing with the new date was sent by certified mail to the owner and tenant and posted on the property and City Hall. An affidavit of posted was completed. On September 29th, I went to the location. Still no permits for any of the signs. On October 12th, I went to the location, still no permits. All the signs were still up with no permits. I took 1 photo. On October 15th, I checked and the window signage was approved and obtained, but the facade sign had not been applied for. On October 19th, I went to the location. The facade sign was still up without a permit. I took one photo. Where? Yes. No, it was the other way. Something happened. Right there, okay? The respondent is here today. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing signage prior to obtaining a permit and to have the permit obtained by November 2nd, 2021, or pay a fine of $100 a day until compliance is met. The city would like to also recover the cost incurred in bringing this case before the special magistrate in the amount of $285.20 to be paid within 7 days of the written order of the magistrate as well. And that concludes my presentation.
And just so I understand where we are today, based on the city's testimony, the city, as for the existing violation as of today, the city's position is that the Barber sign on the facade is still out of compliance. The window signage is now in compliance.
Is now in compliance.
Okay, so it's just the Barber sign on top that.
Yes,
that
it's
as
just the
to
facade sign. Mhm.
Ongoing that you're arguing. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
And they're here. I think it was-
Good afternoon. I just represent the owner. We don't dispute anything. The owner was out of town the last 2 weeks, so was unable to sign the sign company's notarized request. That was taken care of. That's been delivered to the sign company. I believe that the county has it also, or the city has it also. And the sign company has advised us they will be applying for that permit tomorrow. We are fine with the November 2nd date. We are fine with the cost. We are just asking that if whenever we receive the invoice for the cost, that we would have 15 days to pay it. We're okay with all of that. We just want you to know we are working on resolving it.
If you would provide your name for the record, please.
Sure, it's Katie Burke, Berk.
Okay. And
Ownership of the space did transfer between June and July, so a lot of the early stuff that was happening, the previous owners were in the process of selling the business to the new owners. And a lot of the stuff got lost in that ownership transfer. And there was a language barrier, so there was a lot of things that went on, and unfortunately, we stayed on top of them the best we could as well. And this is where we are.
Right, just so I make sure that the order goes to the right place and it gets to where it's supposed to be as quick as possible, is the right address at P.O. Box 691869, Orlando, Florida?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Based on the evidence testimony presented, I will find in favor of the city, find that the respondent was in violation as to window signs and the facade sign, has cured the window sign violation, but remains in noncompliance as to the facade sign. Order the respondent to cure the remaining violation by November 2nd, 2021. If not cured by that date, a fine in the amount of $100 per day may be imposed. Also order the respondent to pay the city's administrative cost and prosecution in the amount of $285.20, which amount will be due within 15 days of the date of my written order.
Case number 2021-1301, James Stephen Ward, owner, location of violation, 238 Virginia Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, Melissa Howells, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I am presenting this case for the property located at 238 Virginia Avenue. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence a copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, a copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, a copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail posted on the property and City Hall, a copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail posted on the property and City Hall, a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code sections in violation of, a copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $290.90, and the respondent is here and has been provided copies of everything. On June 10th, 2021, during routine patrol, I observed several violations at this location, to include a blue Chevrolet van that had not moved in quite some time, a recreational vehicle parked in the right-of-way with the tires sunk into the ground, again proving that the vehicle had not been moved in quite some time, and the exterior property areas in need of being cleaned up. On June 14th, I sent out a notice of violation to the owner of record to correct the violation of the RV in the right-of-way within 5 working days and all the other violations within 10 working days. On June 29th, a reinspection was performed and none of the violations were corrected. I then sent out a notice of violation by certified mail that same day to correct the violations. On July 9th, I received a message from the owner of the property requesting extra time. I extended the time until July 26th. On August the 2nd, a reinspection was performed and none of the violations had been corrected. I added the violation of having high grass to the notice. On August the 3rd, I posted the property and City Hall with a notice of violation. I did an affidavit of posting, and I took 19 photographs. That's the rear yard. Basically just showing you the high grass back there around the fence line. That's the blue van, hasn't moved. The white truck I wasn't sure about. That's the RV, the tires sunk into the ground. On August 18th, I inspected the property and the recreational vehicle had been removed from the property, putting that violation into compliance. All the other violations had not been corrected. 15 photographs were taken. That's from the other side. On September the 30th, the owner called wanting a reinspection. I don't know where my 25th, I must have gone by and taken photographs on the 25th as well. Or I'm skipping a part here. On August 25th, I performed a reinspection and all the violations still existed and 9 photographs were taken. On August 27th, the owner called again, leaving a message that the part for his truck was coming in the week of the August 30th, and that he would have the truck and van moved. On September 21st, almost a month later, a reinspection was performed and the property was not in compliance. 15 photos were taken showing non-compliance. That's from the neighbor's rear yard, and it was too dark. I couldn't. On September 22nd, I sent out a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail. I posted the property in City Hall. I did an affidavit of posting and took a photo of the posting. On September 30th, the owner called wanting a reinspection. On October the 7th, I went by the property to reinspect, and the van and truck had been moved. However, both vehicles already had tires half deflated. The grass and weeds around the rear fence line had not been mowed, and the yard still needed to be cleaned up. I knocked at the door and the owner was not home. A woman answered the door. I gave her my business card to have the owner call me and advise him that every time I tried to leave him a message, it said his mailbox was full and I couldn't leave a message. She stated that she would let him know. On October the 8th, Mr. Ward called me asking me if he needed to be at this hearing today. I advised him it was totally up to him, but he still needed to correct the violations of cleaning up the property and cutting the entire yard, making sure that both vehicles were completely operable and currently tagged. On October 15th, a reinspection of the property was completed and the property is not in compliance. 8 photos were taken. I don't know what I'm doing today. It was more than 8 photos. These are the ones from the 15th. While I was there, a young woman approached me from the house. She stated that she's been trying to help the owner clean up the property. She wanted to know what needed to be done, so I explained everything to her, what the violations were, and she stated that she would be helping him as much as she possibly could. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of high grass and weeds over a height of 8 inches, abandoned vehicles, and not maintaining the exterior property areas in a clean sanitary condition by the time specified. I would like to give the respondent until November the 1st, 2021 to correct the violations or pay a fine in the amount of $100 a day until compliance is met. The city would also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $290.90 be paid within 7 days of the written order by the special magistrate. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you.
Mr. Ward is here.
How you doing today?
Name for the record, please.
James Ward. Yes, the vehicles have been moved. I got rid of the camper. It's just, I'm a bit overwhelmed at this point. My lawnmower broke. Just have been having a string of just stuff happen to me, and it's been making it take longer than, it should. But yet, November 2nd, I will have everything in compliance.
And you understand what needs to be done, you have a clear picture.
Yes,
of
we've already
what you
started,
need to
like,
do.
she talked to my friend, we've already started, trim some bushes and move some stuff. Like I said, my truck's broken down. Until I get that fixed, and then I can start getting the metal and stuff thrown in the truck and have it, taken to the scrap yard.
Okay. And you're confident you can have it done by November 1st?
October, yes, I believe so, 30 days.
Week and a half.
If you need more time, ask for it.
Oh, yes, okay, I'm sorry.
Do you want 30 days?
Yes, please.
I'm gonna give them 30 days.
And can I also have that for the payment? I only I get paid every 2 weeks, so.
Yes. Okay. So based on the evidence testimony received, I'll find the violations do exist. Order them to be cured within 30 days from the date of my written order. So again, like you heard me say earlier, when you get that order in the mail, look at the date that I signed it. 30 days from that is that's when your compliance date will be.
Okay.
Find the respondent is also responsible for the payment of administrative costs in the amount of $290.90, which amount shall be due also 30 days from the date of that written order. So that's your key date. And also, like you heard me say before, if you're working hard on it and you find yourself delayed for some reason, call that code enforcement officer and let her know, because the more you work with them, the more they will work with you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Case number 2021-1359, Isaias Lenore and Darlene Almonte, owner, location of violation 515 Peg Court, St. Cloud, Florida.
Melissa Howes again. This case, I'm going to null pros. I continued from last month due to the fence contractor, and I now have compliance, so I'm going to null pros it.
Case number 2021-1489, Stephanie M. Melendez and Angel L. Melendez-Rivera, owner, location of violation 1753 Cayman Cove Circle, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, Alex Miller with the City of St. Cloud, Code Enforcement Officer. The city would like to request to null the process case as well.
Case number 2021-1526, Patrick Francis Alfonso and Polly Ann Pissarro, owner, location of violation 1775 Bright Sky Drive, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon. Diana Durbin, City of St. Cloud Code Enforcement Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 1775 Bright Sky Drive. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: a copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, a copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, a copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail posted on the property in City Hall, a copy of the statement of violation, notice of hearing, sent by certified mail and posted on the property in City Hall, a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, the affidavits of posting, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, a copy of the deed of the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $234.30. And the respondent is not here. On July 6, 2021, during routine patrol, I observed a fence at this location. I verified there was no permit on file for the installation of a fence. 2 photos were taken. On July 8th, a notice of violation was sent to the owners of the property to obtain a permit within 7 working days. On July 22nd, I verified there was no permit on file. I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail to the owners of the property to obtain a permit within 7 working days. On August 5th, I verified there was no permit on file. I created a notice of violation and sent it by certified mail, posted the property in City Hall, and did an affidavit of posting. 2 photos were taken. On August 23rd, I sent out a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail to the owners of the property. I posted the property in City Hall and did an affidavit of posting. 2 photos were taken. On August 35th, I sent out a revised notice of violation and notice of hearing due to me being out of the office for the September meeting. I moved it to October, so I posted the property with the corrected date and did an affidavit of posting and sent it by certified mail, and 2 more photos were taken. On October 18th, 2021, I verified no permit has been obtained or submitted for this location. It is the city's recommendation that the respondents be found in violation of constructing a fence at this location prior to obtaining a permit, or pay and give the respondent until November 3rd, 2021 to obtain the permit, or pay a fine in the amount of $100 a day until compliance is met. The city would also request that the costs incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $234.30 be paid within 7 days of the written order of the special magistrate. And this concludes my case.
Any word at all from the respondents?
No, nothing.
That's an owner-occupied structure, right? I mean, they live there.
I did call. They had a number on the water department. I called and left a message, and no one ever called me back.
Contractor put up the fence?
I have no
You don't know?
idea. I haven't had any contact with them.
Okay. Based on the evidence testimony received, I'll find in favor of the city, find the respondents are in violation for erecting a fence without proper permits, order the respondent to cure the violation by November 3rd, 2021, pay a fine of $100 a day from that day forward if compliance is not met. Also order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $234.30, which amount shall be due within 7 days from the date of my written order.
Unfinished business, none. New business, reduction of lien over 50,000. Case number 2018-2014, Chia Sheen Shu, owner, AITI Pan owner, location of violation 1112 12th Street, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, Mr. Magistrate. Jack Morrison from the City of St. Cloud. This is a proposed, or rather a request for a reduction of fine lien settlement, actually over $50,000. I think on the form it says under. But this is an agreement reached by the respondents regarding 1112 12th Street. Property is still in non-compliance. There is a closing set, as I understand, for November the 16th. The proposal, there's the total accrued fines are $262,972.48. The proposal that the city manager on behalf of the city is proposing is the reduced amount of $22,897.48 to be paid within 30 days of approval by the city council, as well as the buyers applying for all permit necessary to demolish the entire property within 90 days of sale. So that's the proposal that is going to be taken to the council with your recommendation.
Okay. I don't have any questions for the city. I'm assuming we have owners and current owners and buyers in the audience. Is that the two parties I see? And I'm going to ask them some questions, but I don't think this is sworn testimony. It's just, I want to understand things, so I'm okay with them being unsworn even though they came in late. Because I just want to make sure everybody understands something. So if both groups would come up towards the podium, please.
Identify yourself.
Okay, and the clerk is advising me that they also need the original signed form. Do you have that with you? Okay, so it looks like he has that. So I just want to make sure, all I do today is I make a recommendation. The city commission will ultimately decide whether or not to accept or approve this because it is over that $50,000 mark for the outstanding fines. But I want to make sure everybody understands, particularly the owner, current owner, that my recommendation and probably the council's, what they approve, is going to tie this reduction to new owner doing their side of it. So should something fall through, should the sale fall through, or should you guys not do your part, those fines will go back to their original amount. And just since we had two groups, each with different responsibilities under this agreement, I wanted to make sure everybody understood their roles in making sure that this gets taken care of the way that you've lined it up to get taken care of. Everybody okay? Everybody understand or have any questions for me? Again, all I can do on this one is make the recommendation. The city council will make the final determination. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood. Everybody has to do their part to get this one resolved. Everybody good?
Yes. But can I share something?
Okay.
Okay. My name. Okay. My name is Eddie Pan, co-owner of this property. I remember more than 2 years and a half before April 2019. I was here, and then we were required because of the violation. So we are required to take corrective actions by April 19, 2019, by applying for necessary permits and to commence work to repair the structure or demolish it. So what we did is, so I don't know anything about the structure and architecture. So I paid $3,000 to hire a general contractor to take care of this, and we also spend a lot of money to have a architectural drawing submitted to the city because they require this. So according to the building department, the application was submitted on April 22nd, which is Monday, 2019, and then was approved July 1st. So to be honest, from my understanding is, okay, we do want to start a work to correct the problem, to repair the structure, to comply with the code of the city. So we already start doing it. We also, hire a general contractor to take care of the business. So from my understanding, I thought we are not in the violation, but actually, obviously, my understanding is not correct. So we did not know that. So we didn't know we have a lien until we tried to sell the property, and one of the potential buyer told us, okay, you have a lien, to this property. So that's why we found out. So what I'm trying to say is we have no, intention to not to comply with this because we did not know, because we thought we already start doing it and we should be okay. And so that's what otherwise, I mean, we would not let the fine accumulating more than 262,000. That's a crazy amount. This doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so that's why I want to share with you guys. I know these ladies, they did their job. I don't have any problem with you guys. And but I did not know I'm still violating.
Understood.
The,
Understood.
yeah.
I'm going to recommend approval of the settlement agreement to the city council. I just wanted to take that opportunity to make sure everybody understands. Everybody has to follow through with their end of that to make sure it. Yeah. I see the questioning look in your face. You can come up. You can come up.
My name is Francie Arias, and we have the intention to buy the property. And actually, what I would like to ask you is because me and my husband, going to buy the property, but he will be in charge of all the construction. So I really appreciate if you can give us more time for demolition, since we find out with the doctor he's going to have a surgery at the beginning of January. So right now we're asking for 90 days, so can you stand it up to 120, and we can't get enough time to do all this, since we find out he's going to be in surgery in January.
I'm going to include that in my recommendation to council. Again, council has to make the final decision. I think getting the case resolved, and if there's a medical reason, I see the benefit there to giving that time, because I think 30 days later than maybe the city manager contemplated is still in the best interest of the city on this case. Again, the city council will have to make that determination, but yes, I will include that in my recommendation that a request was made for an additional 30 days beyond that agreed to by the parties, and I will include that in my order that goes to the city council as the recommendation. When is this going to council, by the way?
November 18th.
When are you putting agendas together? I have plenty of time.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, thank you very much. It's, I mean, we try to do it as much time than before, but we don't want to get it in short time.
Understood.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. So that is my order. I am going to recommend approval. I'm sorry.
I got one more thing to add to that. Please make sure you check with the building department, because if it's not an owner-occupied property, typically they do not allow a homeowner or owner to obtain the permits. Like Mr. Pan had to hire a contractor. That's our understanding, so we just want to make sure that you understand that. He may not be able to pull the permits and do the work himself. He may have to hire a contractor to pull the permit.
Okay.
And what you work out, I don't, that's between you guys. But you may not be able to obtain the permit yourself, okay?
Okay.
But I would check into that.
But we may not able to obtain the permits, but as you said, before we close the business, I mean, before we get in as owners, or how is that?
No. You can go through with this. I'm just saying, please check that you don't assume that he can pull the permit and do the work, because I don't want it delayed any further. He's already given you he's going to add for an additional 30 days to that. But if that's going to cause an issue for you in the future, hiring maybe a contractor costing a little more money or whatever, I just want you to be aware of it.
Okay, perfect.
He's trying to let you be aware of everything, and we're trying to let you be aware of everything.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Got it.
So again, that is going to be my order. My recommendation to the city commission will be that the agreement be approved in consistent with the agreement entered between the parties and the city manager, with the one modification that the new buyers be allowed an additional 30 days to complete the demolition work on the property. And the clerk is asking me to ask you all to attend the council meeting and again give that date.
November 18th at 6:30 here in the same.
That's a Thursday, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So if you can all be here for that meeting, that way if the city council has any questions, that you'll be present and available if they want to ask any of you any questions, okay? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Schedule next meeting November 17, 2021.
Anything else from the city? Sure. We are adjourned.
Because we have the